Good morning again.
Good morning again.
It's good to see you all.
Good to see you too.
When I develop messages, I most often do them from my events in my life. And I'm just going to speak for all of us. The last week or two have been very hectic, haven't they? It seems like there's just always too much going on. And I'm still supposed to be retired. This week I was up at 4:30 in the morning going to airports, getting on airplanes, going to Texas, getting off of the airplane, going to meetings for 4 or 5 hours during the day, smiling at everyone, going to a fundraising banquet at night that ran for 3 hours, telling everyone, our big donors, how great we're doing and what we're doing is so wonderful. Going to bed, getting up the next day, going to do a videotape, standing up there plastically, telling everybody hello for a videotape, for welcome, for classes, and then another 3.5 and 4 hour meeting in the afternoon, hearing new presentations on what we're going to be doing all over the world, then going back to the hotel by myself, going to bed, getting up the next day at 4:30, going to the airport, getting on an airplane, getting home, and then going to my house and going in and shutting the door and sitting down, and it's quiet. And there's peace. And my wife is there. Life is good when you get home. And all of a sudden, I'm just so ready for doing nothing. I mean, literally, I'm very good at that. And so I decided in the last few weeks, I was going to bring a message to you that I want for me. It's called Peace in These Times, ? Now, Brother Sue's been translating my messages, and I don't envy him a bit. He's telling me there's so many different words for these words that I use. It's not just one translates exactly to another. Peace is one of those. I understand life is also one of those. And appearance is one of those. And so there's so many different interpretations that can be given for words. So I thank him for all the work he's done. And I offer you all peace and God's grace today. Isn't it good to be in God's house? You know what I'm looking forward to this afternoon? I'm going to lay down and take a nap. It sounds so good on a cloudy day like this and drizzly, and I don't want to think about anything. I've been grading papers, telling young people that you've got to get better. And I know they don't like what I have to say, but it's going to make them better. You know, you don't spell cat, K-A-T. You spell it C-A-T. I mean, I do all the nitty-gritty. So I'm not wanting to do any of that. I'm not going to have to respond to any students this afternoon. Tonight I will, but not this afternoon. So, welcome, and I offer you peace today. We're going to be using a number of scriptures, and we're going to be talking about the word peace. And again, in my interpretation, this does not mean cessation of conflict or war. It means true peace in your life. And so let me say that God considers peace so important that not only did He give it as a title to His Son Jesus, calling Him the Prince of Peace, but He also made it a part of 2 life-changing teachings. The Apostle Paul lists out peace as one of the fruits of the Spirit that is available to all believers in Jesus Christ, preceded only by love and joy. And then you have peace. And that's from Galatians 5, for those of you who like to find those passages. And Jesus taught that being a peacemaker is one of those attitudes every Christian needs to possess in his Sermon on the Mount, found in Matthew 5, verse 9. So, you remember the recent hurricane in Florida? And for some of you, there have been typhoons going across Asia this summer, it seems, just awfully. And picture in your mind one of these massive hurricanes or typhoons or cyclones raging over the ocean and coming in the direction where you live. How all of these people must have felt that. Violent winds are whipping the water into a frenzy. Giant waves are creating havoc and chaos everywhere. Ships are trying to get out of the way. or to a safe harbor. And their crews are desperately trying to anchor down their vessels to prevent them from being beached or sunk. And you remember at this one base in Florida, they had to fly out a bunch of military aircraft. And that base, by the way, every building on it was either destroyed or damaged in every house on that base. I just read all of that. The cities and towns that go along the shoreline are also in full tilt panic, waiting for these things. People are rushing around trying to ready themselves, their homes, their communities for what is coming. Others were packing up their cars and families and heading inland in an attempt to escape from that coming storm. Now, this is not what you call a serene or peaceful picture, but 20 feet below the surface of the water is a totally different picture. The waters are calm. The fish go about their lives completely unaware about all of the turmoil that's going on the surface. And to most extent, and there's a truth that we can take from this picture. That is, where there is depth, there is peace. I like to pause. In speaking, it's called dramatic pause. Where there is depth, there is peace. This is probably why there's so little peace in the world. And that's because there's no depth in our relationship with a God that is real and with God's Word. The world is a mile wide in its opinions and experiences. Aren't you tired of hearing of all the opinions that everyone has and having to hear it every day on the news? But only an inch deep in its understanding of truth. Who created all of this? Who sustains us? Who gives us the truth and word? So we have opinions, but oftentimes they seem to be only an inch deep. Can you feel my passion about this today? I want peace for us, folks. But the type of peace that every human heart is yearning for, especially when faced with the storms of life, most of the world doesn't seem to know about. You might say that peace is one of life's most indispensable qualities and humanity's greatest hope. And while peace is humanity's greatest hope, it seems to be just an elusive dream. We catch glimpses of it, but as soon as we do, it seems to be gone. We watch the news only to see how desperate the world is for peace. We have wars, rumors of wars, terror threats, bombings, coups, uprisings, genocide. We have disharmony in our government, violence in our streets and schools, conflicts in homes, and anxiety and stress in our lives. Any of you all have stress in your life? Oh, yes. If you're honest. Oh, yes. You know it. Just as I said, you feel it. I don't care what stage of your life you are, you feel a little stressed. In Jerusalem, the city is known as the city of peace. I'm talking about Jerusalem. Is known as a city of peace. But there is continual conflict and war. Here's a city claimed by most every religion out there. But not only do they not get along with one another, they fail to find a solution. The city of peace with all that religion. Do you get that? The city of peace with all that religion can't resolve the conflicts. What's the problem?